Hello, heroes of Hyrule! Let me read the chat. Hello everybody. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. Okay, let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Okay, it's time to everybody to say hi to me in the chat, so go ahead. Wait, what the? My phone was right next to the microphone. Makes sense. Hey Julian, hey Nicholas, hey Foreign, hey Odd Gaming. Hey Brandau, hey Linkling, hey Agent FBI again, hey Isaiah, hey Eradication Station. Thank you so much for joining. Everybody's probably still at school and at work in the US, I guess. Hey Odd Gaming, hey Nintendo 64 fan. I love you too, Station. Hey Nintendo 64 fan. Hey Oddly Likeable Things. Welcome. Welcome, heroes. Today we're gonna do the second part. I love you too, Matli. Today we'll do the second part of Link's Awakening. And as you can see, we got 3 dungeons already. Stoleron, my man, thanks for joining. Hey, Mockingjay. Glad you made it. Okay, so since everybody is at school, is anybody at school watching my live stream at the moment or at work? Everybody's busy at these times. Just making spontaneous stream over here. Why don't we begin and boot the save file? Start! Hey Owen, how to do everything? Glad you made it. Hey Mr. Bacon Man. Hey Angry Gamer. Welcome, welcome. So we basically we stopped at this house, the ghost house. Margaret is Matty, apparently. Hey Idiot Niklas. Hey Ivan. Glad you made it. I really appreciate everybody who came here and to hang out with me in this fine morning and evening, wherever you are. Okay, jump! Oh, I made it. Nice. Okay, so I'm not supposed to go here actually. I'm supposed to go to the waterfall. Ta-da! I knew this was there, obviously. I still remember. Wait a second. Can we do this? Haha, we made it. Okay, I'm not really supposed to go here at this time. Wait, I can. I need the swimming thingy. Pick the left rock up. What? Which rock? Is there a rock with a secret in it? There's no rocks with secrets. Oh, this one you mean. I missed it. Wait, what? Is this new? Wait a second. Oh, okay. They just changed the freaking they changed the portals, that's it. Apparently. Or maybe they added new portals? Could be. I don't remember there was a... Wait, there was a portal over there. There was. Okay, move away. Okay, so we're going to the 4th dungeon, but hold on. I missed the broken wall. What the crap? Wait, hold on. Can I break it with the... Move. Can I break it with the... Oh no. It's not like Link to the Past where you can break shattered walls. Oh, good thing. I came here in the best timing because I have the boots. And you need the boots. Oh, dang it. I missed the timing. I don't think it was a piece of heart. I think it was rupees or something. Or a shell? Could be. I knew it was rupees. You must break Link's Awakening with glitches. There's not many glitches you can do here. I mean, in the original one, there's many speedrun glitches. You can basically finish the game in like, I think it was 4 or 5 minutes. But I'm sure they took it off. I'm pretty sure they took it off. What was here? Oh, okay. Wait. This is hero mode. I gotta replenish health every chance I have to. Can you steal from the shop in this version? Yes, Logan Smith. You can still steal from the shop. In this version of I haven't stolen anything. Maybe I'll do it toward the end when I already get everything. But I can almost get the bow. What am I using? Okay. Let's actually progress in the game and go to the waterfall in the mountains. And since I'm here, I should definitely buy an elixir. Woohoo! So why didn't they put the jump in a specific button? I don't get it. Wait, that's not the elixir. Wait a second, that's the wrong house. Wait, is it? Wait, she just cooks for you the thingy. No. It's the wrong house. No. Where's the lady? Okay, so I actually figured out the lag. Apparently my internet provider freaking downgraded my speed. So I have to give them a call. So I had to take the quality down a bit. And if you notice, I had to make the stream 30 frames per second instead of 60. So please forgive me for the lack of quality. But I'll have it fixed right away tomorrow. So for the next live stream it will be okay. It will be more than okay. Okay, wait, is this tree? Nothing. Okay, so what we need to do basically is go here and to be honest, I think I actually whoa, that's another rupee. Oh wait, I forgot you can shield in this game. Okay, so I need the key. Wait, what was the name of it? Now, in order to get the key... Hey, that's another thingy! Okay, thank you. Okay, that portal I remember, so... Okay, that's how you come back from here. We have to go up the mountain. And when we go up the mountain... I'll be honest, I actually forgot where you get the key. It should be the mountain. No, yeah, you get it at the mountain. Oh, come on, I was so shielding that. What the crap? Okay, I won't die. Trust me, I won't die. Trust me on this one, I won't die. Oh no, they can shoot it diagonally? What the crap? Wait, I remember there's a thing in here. I remember there was a shell somewhere. Maybe not in this patch. But there's the patch with the seashells. Somewhere here. Hey Dominic Musler, thanks a lot for joining. You are the best. Not me. You are the best. Wait, why did you write so I can see? I missed it apparently. Because the chat is going up so quickly. Wait, was there? No, on the other floor there was a thing. Okay, can I not die, please? Oh no, I missed it, no! Wait a second. Forgot how you did it. Oh no! I'm dead. Wait a second, how do you pick it up? I forgot. You need to push that thingy. And then you get it? Yeah, again, I'm sorry for the lag. I'll have to check something with my internet provider. Why do they suck? Oh, come on! Do the thingy! No! Wait, so hold on. What am I missing here? Oh, okay. I think I need to do this. And then... What the crap, man? Oh, wait. It's that easy. I don't know why it's that easy. This is just here to confuse you. No! What the crap? That was so quick, like, I almost died. Okay, now I'm on P again. So, remind me, is this breakable? I remember there was a wall that was breakable. In this cave. And it's not here. Oh, I remember where it is. Wait, I don't remember where it is. What? It's like jelly. It's like jelly. Okay, here there was a treasure. Hold on a second. I wanna see the thingy. Where you can break the thing here, but I forgot where it is. No, it wasn't here. It was somewhere beneath, and then you can just go up. Was it here? I remember it vaguely. Okay, I'm kinda OP on this. Okay, I forgot where was the wall. Was it not here? Okay, forget that for now. Let's just move on. But I remember you can break the wall somewhere. And it wasn't here. You can go from the thing. Go, 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 go! What the crap? See, if it was the original version, I would recognize the actual place. But it does look a little bit different. Oh wait, I think that's the cave. Is it? No. It's not here either. Die, bats! Okay, they're dead. Remember, Matty, remember. Wait, do I need... Oh, I forgot what I need to give him. Can you give me some vitals? No. Oh no, I forgot who you give the thingy to. Honeycomb. Who do you give the honeycomb to? I think it was somewhere in the animal village. If I'm not mistaken. That you give someone the vitamin. If I'm not mistaken. Okay, moving on. Go, go, go. Okay, so that's still shallow water. Okay, hold on. I forgot. How do you turn off the waterfall? Wait, this is the key. I forgot how you turn off the waterfall. Like, how do you... I literally forgot. What the fuck? Hold on. Hold on. I know where I need to go, I think. Where is the end boss? The end boss is inside the egg, which is on top of the mountain. Spoilers. I'm telling you, it's here. Maybe. Maybe it was here. Okay, we'll figure it out later. But hold on, where's the key? Okay, let me explore just a bit to remember where the key is. Oh wait a second. Go, 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 go. Oh, what the heck? Okay, I think we need to go talk to the fish. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, you're supposed to go talk to the fish. But wait a second. Do I have the ocarina? There's a place I always forget how to refine. More like it. Oh yeah, it's down here. You need. Okay, so it's not where I thought it was. You need the hook shot for this place. Oh, what the crap! I didn't see that. Okay, let me try remember. Where do you get the third key? Because on the waterfall you can't really progress anymore. Okay, let's see the advice of the freaking plan. Bring. In the Yarna desert. Oh yeah, okay. Now I remember. The desert, yes. You need to kill a mini boss at the desert. Now I remember. And you need to wake up with that Snorlax thingy. Was it a Snorlax or was it just a... Yeah, that's where we need to go. I remember the entrance. It's secret, but I remember. Go! Oh crap. Okay, I remember. We're back on track. I remember stuff now. Okay, so we're gonna go to the animal village. Give me the outfit! Okay, we're gonna go to the thingy. Which is here. Oh, it's good because we need to give someone the honey. It's somewhere here, the honeycomb. I think it was someone in the cave, possibly, not someone in the house. And you also come back here again. Everybody in the chat says Breath of the Wild too hype. I cannot agree even more. Go away. Why are you so rude? What the crap? Hey, challenge boss. Glad you made it. Hey, Nandoka. Happy you joined. Is that true? Yes, it is. You know the dude you're dealing lady? You should have bought flower or something. Yeah, I don't have the flower yet. What's up? What's up? What? Go inside. Okay. Everybody wants Breath of the Wild too. Oh, now remember. I need to give it to him. He cooks something. Yeah, I know. He wants the bananas now. Look. Hey ho! That not the bananas. I already gave the bananas. The honeycomb. Wait, crap! Pineapple. What the hell do you give the pineapple to? Who do you give the pineapple? Okay, that I forgot completely. And I thought the honeycomb was... Okay, first of all, let's go to the cave here on the top. Let's open the portal here. Yeah. We'll come back here with Marin too. She sings to the pet, basically. Before we go. You know, I think if I sing it alone, it doesn't work. So I need to bring Marin here anyway. What? I jump. I'm telling you, there's some lag with the jump in this game. It was so instant in the Game Boy. Go! Oh, what the? Oh, you need the hook shot. Yeah, now I remember. Now I remember the cave. Get the hook shot at level, I mean at dungeon number 4, number 5. Okay, let's go get Mary. Wait, so it doesn't, I gotta have Mary, right? It doesn't work. Oops. Oh, you need to press it twice, jeez. Mary. Okay, let's go grab Mary. Let's go on a date with Mary. Breath of the Wild or Link's Awakening? Basically Breath of the Wild, but Link's Awakening is very nostalgic. Link's Awakening and a Link to the Past are very much at the same spot. On my most favorite Zelda game. Marin, where are you? Oh, she went to the beach. Oh, now there's the scene with the beach. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong song. Push! Okay, we open that later and get the chicken. But until then, that's crap. Oh, maybe I can buy the boomerang now. What the crap? Okay, I think it's down here. Yeah, I found her. I wonder how the scene's gonna be. Will you stay and talk to me? Yes, let's go on a date. Ooh. Took a picture. Took another one. This is a more casual Zelda game. Although, if you don't know this game, you think a lot in the puzzles. Cause some puzzles here are so difficult, like in the side quest. If I was a seagull. So she dreams of leaving the island, basically. One day, Marin. In the sequel, maybe. Logan says, the human heart cannot decide between LA or Breath of the Wild. I missed the frame. Yeah, in the end of the day, you don't need to choose. You can always play both. I got Marin! Like she's an item. They use so many floods in this game, in the soundtrack, in the remake. Where is he? Why is he not? Okay, I think he shows up after the 4th dungeon. Let's go. Wait. We can take the shortcut. We can take the shortcut. Marin, jump, Marin. What? She has like super jumps. Shortcut. Hey Claire, glad you made it. Why is the music so adorable in this game? Why? I do like the original version of Tartal Heights though. Let's sing together. Thanks, Marin. She's going to sing at the village. Let's go listen to it 1 second. I love how they kept the running. She sings to all the animals. Everybody's absorbed. Let's kill the atmosphere. Don't ever forget this song or me. Well, they definitely changed the script. Oh, it's so colorful here. Oh crap, I don't have elixirs and I'm almost dead and crap. Let's try not to die. I can get hit twice. Whoa, whoa, don't spawn on me. What? Oh, what? No, why did you hit me? Damn cactus. Don't hit me back, don't hit me back. Okay, so there was a seashell here, I remember. I knew it! And just to make sure they didn't add another one, let's dig up. With the shit. Go, 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 go. Hey, wolf. Wolf playing wolf. Wait, no, that's where the key drops. We'll come back here later. Okay, the boss is gonna be a little bit tough because I can only get hit once. What the heck? Boss fight, boss fight. Mini boss fight. I still don't have boomerangs, I have nothing. I have no bombs either. Nope! Well, that was quick. Apparently, he hits twice as hard. Jeez Louise. Okay, let's do it correctly this time. So I can only get hit twice. I forgot you can fall in the middle. Crap, I don't have bombs. Dang it. I'll have to come back again with bombs. That sucks. Okay, let's not fall. Dang it. It's hard to hit with this pen. What? He doesn't hit it. Why doesn't it hit him? Oh, come on. I hate the head. Okay, screw the spin. The sand keeps pulling you in. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I missed. The powder. No, don't fall, don't fall. Direction. Come on! Oh, I got one. Dang it! You have a very short window. Dang it! Okay, that's me. No. Why do you need to press A to grab it? Just grab it. Like the original. Okay, let's take a picture of this. So I'll remember to come back here. And break the wall. I should take pictures of every place basically. Okay, I think we're done here. Okay, we can now disable the waterfall. I mean, turn it off. What's up, owl? Hey Twix Vendelox, you can only do the color dungeon, I think, after dungeon 4. Oh, you know what? I think you're right. I think you can do it at the dungeon 3. Okay, after this dungeon, we'll go to the color dungeon. I remember it's a really fun dungeon. Color Dungeon was basically DLC back in the Game Boy. Okay, where's the key thingy? Waterfall open. Da 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 da. Yeah, I can do it now. Yeah, you're right. You can do it after the third dungeon. But we'll do it after the fourth one. Oh, what the crap? Come on. Although it seems like I really need it. Do. Wolf with wolf. Go. So I really forgot where you break the wall for that. What the fuck? Okay, at least let's die inside the dungeon. So again, I really forgot who you give the... Wait, that's deep water, right? Yeah, that is deep water. Wait, is it? Yeah, it is deep water. Magikarp, is that you? Okay, we're inside the Magikarp dungeon. Yeah, remember if you kill them all, then... Hey, bombs! Okay. Look, they give you so many items in this game. No, okay, good. I want the defense. Whoa! It's a key. No, it's a compass. Yeah, you can sprint in this game. What? Maybe you didn't get it yet? But what the crap? I almost fell into the water and died. Do. The music in this dungeon sounds very watery. Oh crap. What? It's still here? It was still here. What the crap? Should I just do the jump and go for it? Just do the jump and go for it. I made it! What? There's nothing here? Oh, it's just for health and stuff. Almost died. Was one of them pushable? Probably mistaken with another dungeon. It's a key. No, it's the beacon. Hey Alex Simons, thanks a lot for joining. Clear this dungeon quickly, cause I know exactly what to do. If I had the bow already, I could kill them easily. I think you can kill them with the bow, if I'm not mistaken. There was bomb! Whoa, that almost killed me. Ah! Can I just get treasure and leave? Oh, that's for the key. Give me the flippers already. I wanna swim. I'm out of here. No! That was a close one. That was super close. The way he bumped into the wall. Okay. Let's go on. Oh, what? Why did everybody respawn? What the crap? Come on, give me a... Well, nothing helps. I'll die anyway. What the... No, what? He just charged into me. What the heck? This game can be so surprising at times. Well, thanks for the help, I guess. No. Wait, you can't use the shield either. What the heck? Shield all the time. Wow, they really kicked my butt, like seriously. Whoa, that was a close one. I really like how the game is really hard on hero mode. Although it's basically double damage. I don't think they have more health. It's just double damage basically. Go! Can you go away 1 second? Like, oh, come on. Jeez Louise. Oh, you can see that? It's only from the other side. Oh no, it fell in the water. Okay, let's be OP for a moment. The glint of the tire. Can you move so I can move? No! Whee, that was a close one. Okay, we're going to get the flippers now, from what I remember. No! No! Wait a second. No! Okay, whew, they don't eat you. That's a good thing. They just latch onto you. I thought it was a gunner over there. No! What the? He still hit me. What the heck? Jeez Louise. It's Jeez and Louise. You can make the jump. Wait, can you record? Oh, you can record video on this game. That's pretty cool. Oops, wrong button. Come on, die. Okay, that's the first one. Dang it. Come on, I don't wanna die from you. Can I do it with this? Maybe if I'll time it. I died literally in the corners of the pixels. What the heck was that? I literally died from throwing the bomb away. What the heck? Apparently that animation moves you a few pixels forward. Ah. Wasn't there a thing that if you hit it with an arrow, or maybe that, maybe it was just in a Link to the Past and not here. More defense. Yeah, we're gonna go get the flippers now. Go, 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 go. Oh wait, not here. No, wait. She did everything. Parry this thing. Okay, now that I killed it. Ooh. Give me the power. I wanna walk fast. Okay, so it was this. Then what? I jumped. So this. No. So this. Are you? They really expecting me? Okay, yeah. Now I remember. It's gonna be a little bit stranger with the laggy jump. What? You can't. Okay, I need the flipper. I remember doing this without the flippers actually. Like you can do it with the running, but in this version they made the blocks kind of like higher, so you can jump on it. But you can do it without the flippers. I remember. Wait, hold on. It's 3 squares. Yeah, you can totally jump it in the original game. You don't even need the flippers. Oh, what the crap? That throwing sound effect, yeah. Go! 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 Wow, we really... It killed them in like one run. It's the boss fight. It's basically a game of cat. What? That hit me? Jeez Louise. Oh no, it's catching me now. Wait. I want to do a spin. Oh crap. He faked it. He faked it. I can make it. Oh no! Why did I press down after hitting him? That was so bad. That was so bad. That was bad gaming skill. That was pure bad gaming skill. So okay, so the difficult part in hero mode is not necessarily the double damage. It's actually the fact that there's no health container like spawns. Like there's no way to heal unless you find unless you find a fairy, which are not that common. But I really should buy an elixir again. Well, I died like 10 times already in this save file. So anybody keep counting of the death count? What? What the heck, man? He fooled me. I can get him. Oh, what the? He pulled me again. What the crap? If he's chasing me, then I'll chase him back. What the heck, man? What? That didn't count? Wow, the hitbox in this game is so, like, fragile. There's no time to do a spin wheel. You gotta do a normal hit. Ay, that was so good. Oh, come on. I remember when you run toward him in the original, you just bounce back. And it still registers a hit. Why do you go? Why do you go all the way? Wow. You caught me on the flip side over there. Can I finally kill him, please? So I can get the shortcut portal of the dungeon. I'll be honest, I'm having a lot of fun dying because, like in normal mode with heart container respawns, it's kind of hard dying in this game. I mean, maybe there was like one boss fight that was a little bit of a pain, but... No, what the crap? Wow, I'm already like dead. Like, seriously. Jeez Louise, just hit me so I can have more health. What the heck? This is Zelda on hero mode. Apparently it's kinda hard. But if I shield, it's easy. Wait, I wonder if you can shield his like body. That doesn't make sense, but it kinda does. What? How does that make sense? I was literally running with my sword and it... I can't believe that's happening, like really. Okay, obviously we're gonna have to choose the blue suit. Death count 21? No, I think it's I think the death count is at like 14 or 15. Around that area, I think. Okay, let's get serious now. And play the game correctly. Shield and parry and stuff. No! No! Okay, thanks. Okay, since the running is... You can't trust it. Ooh, maybe I can reach the boss with the double power. Okay. That choo-choo was what the heck? So much parrying. Wait, shield or let's do the attack. Oh, it disabled the music, the boss. Oh no! Why did I go down? Why did I go down? I keep thinking I'm missing it. So I'm like getting closer. Wait, I lost the power though. That sucks. Oh, that was so close. No! I had a feeling he's gonna turn around. I knew he's gonna turn around. That's why I didn't hit the dash. Okay, that's the spin. Oh, what? I don't remember him being that random. Like, what the crap? I don't know why I keep getting closer to him after I hit him. No, just don't turn around. It's so scary when it does turn around. Oh wait. Ah, then just don't turn around. No. Why are you turning around now? What the heck? I got him. Okay, let's wait for the first turnaround. And then hit him. And he's gonna turn around now. Now he's gonna do it. Okay, now. Is he gonna turn around now? He's gonna do it now? Okay. No! He does it when you don't expect it. Like, what the crap? They upped the RNG in this one. Wait, you can... Hey, you can just stop the running with the sword slash. That's useful. Okay. Hey, he got hit in the wall like diagonal. Oh, jeez. He's gonna turn it up. Come on, Anthony. That's a double hit. Jeez, finally, give me the flipper. Let's get the flippers. Aim swing. Wait, that's not the flipper. Go. What the crap? Here's the flippers. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, why did I put the bomb? I almost killed myself. It's the flipper. Dive with B and like the regular. If I had the hook shot. Come on. Okay, so that's this and this. Diving. That's diving? My head is still up above the... What the crap? Okay, I'm okay. Yeah. Okay, let's do it now. Ooh. You can totally do this in the original without the flipper, I'm telling you. Now we can get that key, that last key. In this dungeon, you really rely on the previous dungeon item. Oh crap, I forgot about that. Gotta love those 2D sections. It's the boss key, it's an icon. I remember. Okay, so what else was here? We need to go grab the key. Hey, you can see his slippers. It's his slippers. That's so awesome. I just noticed. That's really cool. Oh wait, I need another key. Whoa, chill. Wait, no, that's the thing. Come on, let me pass. No, stop pushing me. Oh, come on. You have to go over there. Here's the key. Look at the flippers. They're yellow. Wait, why are they yellow? They were just green. Okay, look. The flippers are yellow. Wait, what happens if you're here? Ooh, I almost fell to the pipe. But wasn't there another treasure? Yeah, it was right there. Let's go grab it real quick. I was shielding. I'm shielding. Can you let me just... Either way, I had death coming toward me. He was either falling or hitting him. And I had no time to hit the sword. Okay, here, the chest is even closer. Crap wall. Okay, so the flippers are yellow. It's just because of the water, it makes it kind of greenish. Just rupees, no? Yeah. I can now buy the bow without stealing it. What the crap? Go, go, go. Wait, I need it. Oh. Dive, Link, dive. Okay, you all ready for the final boss? I hope I do. Spin dash in the water. So you can attack while in water here, but not when you dive in the overworld. That's weird. It's the perfect timing to be OP. Wait, OP or defense? Okay, let's have options. Okay, the fish. I remember it was annoying. Let's hope it's not annoying. Look the same. Bloop bloop glub glub food glub. Is that fish kosher? Come on, I'm OP. I'm OP. Let me hit you. I like how he gets hit and he gets red. That was piece of power before boss. Awesome timing. I concur. Was the best timing ever. You got the heart container. So did they add heart pieces? I don't think so. Okay, the next line should be the... Wait, what? There was 7 in each line, I think. We got it! We got it from here. The circle. Now we can surf. Okay, getting in the... I think I like this one the most. Nobody's woofing. Only Wolf is woofing. Okay, I'm surprised. It took me 1 hour to reach and finish the dungeon. What the crap? Okay, so now we're gonna do the color dungeon. Although I do remember, wasn't there a secret here in one of the waterfalls? Where does this came? I think this is mostly a show. See, in the original one, you couldn't even see it. But here you can see it underneath the water, so it's self-explanatory. There's just something else. Well, that was an easy piece of art. One more and we have another one. Okay, so on the other side, I remember there was a thing. Like a secret or something. I think here we can go. Here we reach another melodic thingy for the ocarina. Why did they make it sound Japanese even more? Sounds like it's from an anime. Wait, so it only warped you to a certain point in the original. Now it warps you to any point? Interesting. Is there something over there? Apparently not. Okay, let's go to the color dungeon, finally. And get that blue tunic, so we can have more defense. Go, 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 go. What the crap? So much moving, so many Okay, I do remember there was some waterfall though. Oh, here the ghost has now come and risen. This is where the ghost finds you when you become hunted. Was it here? What the heck? I knew there was a secret in one of them. I remember there was something. It's good that the ghost is come, because now we're gonna do the color dungeon and we kinda need to go there. But will they let me climb from here? Oh yeah, the piece of art. Good thing I just exploded. We got another heart container. You gotta love exploring in this game. Like in Zelda games. Okay, there's another way that when you dive beneath it, you get a jar or something. I forgot what you get over there. Or maybe it's a seashell. Go, go, go. What do you mean you can get a hard container? Oh yeah, oh okay. No, I have 9 though. The house takes me. Okay, hold on. That's the cabin of the secret seashells. But I only have 9 so far. I forget, are there like 60 seashells or something like that? Open! Okay, I find you need 10 for a piece of heart. Apparently you need less. Wait, does it get saved like the progression? Oh, I want to do it all the way. Okay, I'm not coming here until I get all of them. Any secret crystals here? Wait, what's this? Peculiar. Oh, what? It's another wow point. That's cool. Let's do the thing. Oh, okay. Oh, thanks, Tricks, for the tip. You get 5, 15, 30, 40, and then 50. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Thanks for the tip, Tricks. Okay, we need to reach the beach so we can go to the flange and walk over there. Go into my house. I love the music in this house. The ghost remembers. Cemetery and Color Dungeon. Although before we go there, so who do you give the pineapple to? I really forgot. Somebody in the chat. Who do you give the thingy to? Here you go, monkey. Okay, can I buy the boomerang now? No, not yet. Why not? Why can't you buy the boomerang? How do you call the guy here? Did I forget something? Maybe after the 5th dungeon. Okay, let's go steal the bow and then buy the bow. Bam! That's the library. Oh, you know what we can do? We can get a thingy here. I think it's a seashell. Your grave, I know. Hold on. Hold on, go. What the crap? Shut up, shut up. It's a seashell. Give me that thingy. Acorn, super acorn. Wait, I didn't even go there, I think. Dang you. Oh, you need the... Well, you can jump this, I guess. You need the hook shot for this. I remember. You need the hook shot for many things. Way, wrong way. Okay, let's go steal the bow. And then buy the bow. Whoa. Oh no, that hit me. It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. Okay, is there any better prizes maybe? And wait, what the heck is that in the end? Is it even anything? What the heck? Okay, so let's save the game. Okay, let's save the game. And now let's steal it. Oh, what the crap. Okay, so they kind of changed it, I guess. Oh, it's so... Oh, I made it! Guess what? You got it for free. Are you proud of yourself? Not really. Let's go back inside and flange them. No! Wait, just take my money. Okay, don't take my money. Come on, ghost. Wait, what happened if you have an elixir? Oh, it was a chamber stone. Yeah, I thought it's gonna be that way. Wait, retry? Wait, I don't want to save and quit. Wait, am I thief now? Is my name Thief? Where's Mali when you need her? Dude, you're asking me where I to live. What do you mean by when? Wait, who says my name? Okay, wait a sec. Load game. Load. I don't wanna. Okay, let's just buy it. Let's be decent. Yeah, only 980. The most expensive thing you buy in the game. See, I don't even have money for this. Okay, I'm gonna steal this. Okay, I'll come back for that. Okay, let's get that dungeon chamber thing. And then go to the color dye. Okay. Okay, it's over there. Grab it! No, what the heck? I was so getting the right timing. Come on. So you need even earlier than that? Jeez Louise. Close, 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 close! Oh my god, that was perfect. That was perfect. Bam. No, you have nothing else that's good. Thanks for the prize. Okay, so now that I have bows. Okay, what is it I want to do? Okay, where's the elixir thing? Here, that's where you buy the elixir. And it's next to the graveyard, which is awesome. Okay, let's check the bow. Okay, there's a place where you can maximize your bow and bomb count. Falls off. Can you pick it up a breath from the one? Now let's see, in the original game you can use both of them. Oh, it actually works. I mean, it should work. You can combine both. That's an M. And that's both. Okay, let's not waste everything. So how much was an elixir? I forgot. That's it? 28 rupees? She's cheap. Wait, what? Why does it show I have an elixir? Oh, okay, here, secret medicine. It was a bottle in the previous one. In the original one. Jeez Louise. Okay, we're ready to go to the color dungeon. Let's do this. Yeah, oh crap. Who wants a piece of me? Here's your grave. He's happy. The ghost is happy. Thanks for the job. Wait, so how do you use the bottle? Just like any Zelda game? Apparently. Okay, let's go to the color dungeon. Good thing I left some bombs. Okay, you need to use the hook shot But we're gonna cheat and not use the hook shot. Cause sequence breaking is always fun in video games. Oh, what the crap? Okay, so anybody remembers the actual thingy? The actual code for the dungeon? I think I need to go to the library and check it again. Okay, there was an order and you pulled them off. Oh, what the heck? Why are they so OP? Why can't I kill any of them? Okay, is it on this 6th grade? No, I don't think it is. I think it's here actually. No. I think it's here. Okay, screw this. Where is the thing? Let's go to the library. They explain you the code over there. Of how to get to the color dungeon. Go! Crap. No, wait, no! It's by accident. Jeez. A world of color. Where's the book with the world of color? Bam! The hidden power of color. Do you want to read the book? Yes. As you are after 5 gravestones, so I was correct. It was on the top right. Oh yeah, okay, what the crap. Good thing you can take pictures. Well, that was close. I mean, there's no point in warping anywhere. Why warp when you can dance? Dang it. Wait, hold on. I should buy bombs. I forgot where's that cave where you expand all your the bombs and the arrows. I forgot where it is. An explanation why I won't break the game. I just broke the game. I took the heart piece without using the hook shot. That's a sequence break right there. Okay, go. Okay, so 5 gravestones. Okay, okay, so it was here. Dang it. Okay, why am I dead? Why am I almost dead? Why are they so OP? Jeez Louise, give me the OP soul. With 50 shells for that. There's actually a seashell that's missable when you have the chicken, but we're gonna get to that after this dungeon, don't worry. Okay, so what was it? Album. Okay, so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's easy. Okay, so down, left, up, right, up. That's easy. Down, left, up, right, up. Down. Okay, since I'm gonna die, and with the color guard, you need magic powder to get anywhere in here. Say the word and sell you some. I have powder. Although I'm gonna die in a second though. So let's die and then do the dungeon. Oh wait, no, I had an elixir. Why am I just... I forgot it. He's Louis, okay? It's the color of language. What if I need red? Wait, what's the out? Spoilers, I'm gonna choose the blue tunic because I love blue and I prefer defense. I don't have any keys. The heck? Can you come towards me just a little bit? Wait, how do you... what? Oh, you can lift it. I forgot you can lift it. Oh, hey, thanks for the tip, Tricks. Yeah, that's right. The cave is right next to the ghost house, near the beach, near the bay. We're actually going there next, so we'll do it. I don't need the stone beak. Let's be OP. I missed the rupee. What's up? What's up? What's up? Bam. Check what's here. I don't remember the dungeon very well. It's kind of vague. Aha! Do it. Fell It's a mini bomb. Your pitiful sword is no match for me. Okay, I'll use it. What's up, guy? Whoa. Come on, I was so spinning. It's so jelly like. ASMR, Link walking. It's the nightmare key. It's the world of color, where colors are colors. I was doing diagonal. So that was a good run. I went to the exact room you're supposed to go. Which is awesome. Did I miss anything? No, it's pretty much done here. It's a quick dungeon. Okay, this boss looks really different from... Wait, what? No, don't hit me. I'm just a kid. Let's use this. What's up? What's up? Spam him. Spam him diagonally. Okay, not diagonally. Oh, come on. Here, diagonally. Come on. How many hits? What the heck? He does double. Oh crap. Can you blow up quick? Oh, I'm out of arrows. That's what happened. Jeez. That's why it didn't work. Hey Brenda, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. I can't believe I used all my arrows and stuff. That sucks. It super sucks. I really had him. It barely does any damage. I think my sword is way better. Finally I had a reason to use the boomerang, the arrows, the bombs, and I didn't get to win the reward. Whoa, whoa, he does triple damage. Oh, come on. Wow, that's super hard. When he does the double rocks, it's kind of dangerous. I may need an elixir for this, because I don't get replenished all the way. Like, what the crap, man? See, that's what's hard about this game. If you die, there's no, like, you gotta use the fairy. Wait, what the crap? There's a thing here. That's one way to recover hard. How many do I need? One more and I have a thing. Please don't hit me. I need the help. No, come on. What the heck? Okay, let's get the elixir. Oh no, now I remember. It costs more the more you buy it. Jeez. Prices went up. Economy in Hyrule, I mean in Koholin Island is rough. People just trying to make their daily rupee. Okay, let's finish this boss correctly. Wait, I can still find Bob. Oh, come on. Any chance for arrows? Anything? Any chance for arrows? Okay, it's on. Let's do this. Oh crap, I didn't jump. Oh no, it fell on my head. Oh no, oh no, oh no again. Oh no, why are you here? Oh no, 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 no. That was a double hot thing. It's okay, I have an elixir. Do the powder help? Does the powder help? Not really, but he's dead. I literally needed one more hit without the elixir. Wait. That was the mini boss. That wasn't the final boss. What the crap? That wasn't the boss, I forgot. Oh crap. Oh no, come on. Oh, here, I got it. No, I didn't get it. No, why is it difficult? What the crap? You just make it random? Hold on a second. Why is it more complicated when it's simple? Wait, there's always one. What the crap? Make every time. No, wait, I wanted to hit this. I think I almost got it. Getting there. No, come on, it keeps missing my thingy. Okay, let's reset it. Okay, that's good, that's good. It's not good. How come there's always one left? Okay, what am I missing? Make every tile square? Okay, I was doing it incorrectly. What? Low battery? What the crap? How long have I not charged my remote? Oh, finally! Jeez Louise! Jeez Louise! Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. What? Give me the key. Is there one hidden or something? What? Was all for nothing. I need the key. I have a compass. You should let me know if there's a key. Boo 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 boo. By accident, two of them were linked. We got this. We got this. This dungeon is ours. Why did I talk? When I talk, I get hit. Why? Why? Finally, the final boss. Okay, I have like 3 heart pieces. Like, obviously, I'm gonna die. Is there a shortcut in this? This is safe. I'm safe. How did he beetle? That's a beetle? Yeah. No! Why? What? No! Please don't kill me. I get him stuck in the corner. I can't even see how pieces. It's about freaking time. Quite the beetle. Give me the master tunic. Okay, blue or red? Blue or red? Blue or red? What do you guys think? Blue or red? Blue, red. Twilight says blue. Jam the man says red. Wolf says red. Wolf says red again. Foreign says blues. Wolf says red again. Your boy says red. Sia says blue. Twilight Gotcha says no red. Legend Guy says red. Kerry Kidding says blue. Brenda says finally wolf. Trick says blue. Fury says blue. Ultra Instinct before says red. Okay, now the chat is going super quick. Dejan Guy says red. Daniel says red. Okay, it's red and blue. It's red. Okay, many reds. Okay, many blues now. Blue it is. Yes, I'm sure I want the blue mail. Wait. We're looking blue now. To be honest, I wish I could still keep the green. I will now take you outside. So what's the portal was for? Like what? Look, we're blue now. It makes me feel unstoppable, apparently. Unstoppable. Okay, so next we're gonna go to the 5th dungeon. If I'm not dying. Oh. Wait, now I have like extra hit. Let's see how much it is now. Hey, it's still 42 rupees. She said here's a bonus, thanks. Met the wolf in boss battle. Okay, next boss battle I'll win. Okay, so now... Okay, so before we go to the 5th dungeon, which was possibly my favorite, I'm not sure. I remember it was fun getting them. And there was a mermaid and a side quest. How about we do something I haven't done yet, which is let's go fishing. Oh, I'm sorry, dog. Every time you're here, I hit you. It's my bad. What the crap? Hey, chicken. Okay. Let's fish a little bit. Just 10 rupees? Well, I have 27. What happened to all my rupees? Wait, they changed it. Oh, okay, A and L, okay. Wasn't there something that you can use as bait? I remember there was. Oh, it's just like the original, only in 2D. Go, 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 go. Look at those pixels go. go for the big one. Come on! Come on! None of the fish cared. None of them cared for me fishing. Oh, what the crap? No, not the small one, no! Bite it. No, why not bite it? Why they don't care for my hook? Come on, come on. Give a crap, come on. Bite it, bite it, bite it. Go, 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 go. No, come on, what the crap? Hey, you took my money again. And the fish is gone. Dang it. I was so close. Hey, a jar, I knew it was something. Hey, that's cool. Oh, what the crap, man. Oh, come on, I was getting the jar. Okay, let's get 3 more rupees. That's one. Maybe 5 rupees? Possible? Okay, let's get 1. Can we steal rupees from him? Can we rob him from rupees? Ooh, a blue rupee. Come on, we can make it. Just wait, how many more? Wait, we have 20. Screw that. Why are you always in the way, doggy? It's a specific dog. What the crap? Okay, let's get the jar. Screw the fish. We'll get something for the bait later. Dang you, fish. The fish is annoying. I need multiple tries. Think faster. Slow and safe. Don't touch the button. Go, 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 go. No, come on. I should have waited. I almost had it. I don't have rupees again. Okay, we'll come back when I have like 30 rupees. Let's go to the bay and the 5th dungeon. Wait, you need the hook shot and it's not even here. Give me rupee! Only if it's a... okay, it's 2 rupees. Only if it's blue rupees, I'll go back. Go, 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 go! Oh wait, there's a thingy here! There's a shell! Ta-da! Go, go, go! We're going places. Wait, wait! Why am I going back? That's not the way. Okay, now we're going places. What? It changes at the last second. Yeah, where's the water? Go! Oh crap, I paid for that. Here's the mermaid. I need to escape from something else. Well, where's the bridge? It's from, no, it's from the other side. Hey, there's a thing. I don't remember this piece of heart, to be honest. And we got a heart container. Okay, let's go to the bridge for the secret. Dive, Link, dive. Well, you didn't even need to dive, you just need to... No, I need the hook. Oh, now I remember. You give the pineapple to the guy. Now I remember. You can do it here too? Oh, that's awesome. You can play in 2D. What's the fastest? Basically this. No, no, the stream won't end when my controller dies. I just switched to the Joy-Con. Oh, what the crap? When we're gonna get the hookshot, we'll have so many places to explore, like new places. Secret seashell? Yeah. Okay, since Trix in the chat knows all the secrets in the game, where's the bomb location? You can make one of the... Only have 3 bombs to try. I remember the wall can break somewhere here. Where can you break the walls here? Was it here? I think it was here, no? I tried it. offense and defense. Okay, anybody remembers where do you break to get there? Okay, no, maybe I'm mistaken and it's a different cave from the other side, possibly. Wait a second, is that 3 holes? 1, 2, 3. No, that's 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can make it with the jump. Unless... No, you can't. You gotta use the hook shot. Hey, Alex Pro, glad you made it to the live stream. Okay, let's give him the pineapple. Oh wait, no, he's from the cave. Where am I going? Oh, you can jump all the way. There was a secret waterfall, I remember somewhere. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, what the heck? Everybody keeps hitting me. Oh yeah, here, Tricks knows. It's a different cave later on. Yeah, I figured it from somewhere else. But there was a cave here that you can break a wall, I think. Yes, take the pineapple. So he gives me the hook, I think? No, it's a BC. Okay, now you need to go, okay. You need to give it to the animal lady in the village. Enjoy the pineapple. Seashell? So Tricks, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's one missable shell in the game, and you gain that with the chicken. Am I correct? Do I remember? That's the only missable one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's the goat lady. Okay, let's explore just a little bit more here, and then go to give the flower. So basically you always want to have the feather equipped, because you always want to jump. I don't know why they didn't make it that it's just the ZL or ZR button. What the heck, man? Okay, let's see if I can do it in one go. Hold on, what? But how do I get the other one in the end? If I push this, I can't push the other one. Dang it. Oh yeah, how do you do this? In one go? If I push this, this is locked forever. But to go, I need to do... Okay, screw this. Now that's locked forever. Oh wait, what? Okay, so maybe... Okay, we need to start from here. That makes no sense. It's rupees. It's always rupees. Go. Seashell? It is a seashell. Wait, do I have 15 yet? I have 12. Go, Link. Now we can go from here. Oh, what the heck? You are near the biggest tower. Beware of the bird. I don't really need to go here, to be honest. So I guess we'll just teleport. Any treasure chest? Seashells? Anything? At least I'll open the portal, I guess. Oh, you need a hook shot. You need a hook shot. Wait. Is this breakable? No, it's not. Okay, it's time to go to the dungeon. Well, the village first, by here. I'm OP again. Wait, isn't this? It is. I remember correctly. Oh no, it's. Oh, it's like all the way. I went to go to that mountain. Let's walk without saying. Let's use the telephone. Let's give her the flower. Whoa, he just made a superhero landing. It was this house. No, it was this house. No. Take the flower. And now let's teleport back. Okay, that's the closest? Jeez. Okay, it's fastest from here then. Oh wait, you need the thingy, you can't go through this ever again. It's stupid. This place really slows down the game. I have a letter for you. Oh! What's this? A letter for me? I'm so happy. It has a photo. What? Peach? What the crap? Was that in the original game? Oh wait, I think it was. Back to Mape Village. So, these caves here. Oh, it was just that thing. What? I didn't even grab this. Just soupies. Oh, what the heck, Link? Emma, sure, let's grab it for fun. Where does it save though? Oh, it's always here. Low battery again. Oh crap. Go. Oops, sorry, Cuckoo. She wants the broom. So she gives me the hook? Yeah, she gives me the hook. Okay, since we're here, and I have rupees and I'm rich again, let's grab that job for crying out loud. 1 second. Before we head to the dungeon. Oh, now there's 3 huge fishes. Dang it. It's gonna be harder. I think you get a can of orbs at some point, and then you can use it here, I think. This may take a minute. Do it slowly. I'm almost on the other side. Almost. So close. It's like Metal Gear Solid, but fishing version. Okay, I think it's safe. But let's do it like from all the way. No, why, man? Why? Dang it. It's okay, I'm rich. I have lots of money. Let's go. I've got to sink again. Don't grab it. Okay, let's go for it. Well, since we got one. 26 rupees. Oh, now I remember. That's how you get the better hooks. Now I remember. Yes. Okay. Now let's grab that freaking jar. Why is it so heavy? I may need to catch that fish though. We'll see with the angle. Wait, did another fish join? Where did he come? Okay, that's the most that he can go forward, I guess. Go, 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 go! I got it! We got another jump. Change roll. Let's try the middle one. See. Is it just catching the big one again? Like, what's the point? Go, 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 go. Oh, he ran away, that's it. Okay, let's try the big one last time. That was so quick. That's it. We'll come back to this later. Okay, so I should be able now to freaking buy the boomerang, I think. But I probably don't have enough rupees. Go, go, go. Is he here yet? He's still not here. How do you summon him? Is it after dungeon 5? What the crap? Okay, so we're near the 5th dungeon. Finally. What the crap? A secret seashell. Ta-da-da. So that's okay. We need 2 more. Brenda's name is Glitch's Fierce Daily Armor. Okay, I need two more heart pieces. Okay, we can upgrade the bombs here. Okay, I have powder, good. Okay, bombs I think is better maybe. I'll let you carry more magic powder. Wait, why magic powder? I want bombs and ammo. The junk you need to carry. Wait a second. Isn't this where you upgrade the bomb? Oh wait, no, you do it with the fairy maybe. Yeah, I think it's one of the fairies that let you upgrade the bombs and the... What the crap, man? Yank. Okay, let's finally go to the fifth dungeon. What? Can we make it without... I'm a change blob, and that's not all I have to say. What the fuck? All three of those blobby frauds are magic. If no tool, just one. What the crap? Still hits me. Crap. You can talk to your enemy. Let's give the fishing guy the thingy, and he find the scale. What's up, fishing guy? Have fun with it. It's the necklace. Okay, let's go to the cute mermaid and give her the thingy. Yeah, this is a way to shake a tail. These live streams of Link's Awakening remake is like the sequel to the second spin-off of Awakening Link. Take your necklace. Did it hurt when he took her scale? Bye, mermaid. Help me fight him. Oh wait, I think I need the hook shot again. Did I? No, I didn't. What's up? I made you human. Do you have anything? Secrets are wild when it comes to bridges. Yeah. What? I knew there was something there. It was suspicious. One more, and we have something. Oh crap, you do need the hook shot. Okay, so we do this after the time. What's this? What? fucking left thing. We're trying to dig him up. Okay, so obviously you cannot. Okay then, to the dungeon. Okay, maybe not from here. What? That's not the powder. Go! Go! Entering the dungeon. Hello, mermaid. Go, 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 go. Another 2D segment. Why is it 30 frames per second? Oh, is it? Okay, now it's 60. Finally, entering the dungeon. I have the bow, right? Oh, I don't have any arrows. Okay, I'm sure I'll find arrows. And again, there's no batteries on my remote. Oh, come on. Come on, what the crap? That's the boss, by the way. Make it! Whoo! Pixels away. Come on. Jeez Louise. We got the compass. Okay, can I oh, I don't have any arrows anyway. You don't even need the last one. Why is it there? Push this in. Grab this. Push this in. Give me the key. Oh, it's the floor thingies. I'm ready. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, I remember. You need to enter these rooms in the correct order for boss fights. Oh, I just came here for nothing. Going. Wait, so where can I go? Oh, I have a key. What the crap? I should have come here. The way he died. Is this not breakable? Ooh, that was a nice dodge. Come on, come on. Take your time, take your time. We can't need bombs apparently. What? Come on. What? $5 rupees. Give me that thingy. It's a stone beam. Oh, what the heck? Oh, what the heck? Oh, here, arrows too. And Triforce power. Why not? Wait, how do you... Not like this? You're not supposed to do it like this. Oh, what? I died. I have an elixir though, right? That was such a waste. Can I make it? No. I think in the original you could. Wait, so I need... Okay, that's the nightmare boss key. That almost worked. Okay, I need the hookshot for this too. Wait, so where can I go? What the heck? Did I get stuck in a Zelda? Oh wait, I know. I haven't explored here yet. Whoopee. Do. Okay, that's the first door. They make it look so good, so cool, the skeleton. What's up? Boom. Wait, I can just use these now? Apparently not. I can't beat you, he gave up. Wolf in the boss battle. Why wolf? Come and get it if you can, master. Ooh, boss. What's up? What the heck, man? It's a key! Oh, it's just a... Playing a Mario game. The Legend of Mario. Mario's Awakening. What's the point of this creature? Why is it here? Can I dig in 2D? Go! Up, 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 up. No, you need the hookshot for this. Why did I go all the way? Backtracking, backtracking.
Oh.
No, whoop. I pressed B. Sorry. Wait, what? Okay, that's not the way either. I have to go back to the into what the crap? To the crossroad room here. Go, go. before we do this. It's the second. I should have done this like that. You don't even need to shield with him. Oh, what the? Did it even count? This is like the easiest boss ever. Like every. Go, go, go. Easy. It's the fair room. Do I have enough bombs? I should have. 5 is enough. With this wall? No. Try to time it. It didn't work. Now you get the map. What the crap? Okay, there was one. Okay, actually, let's go. Just go back. Oh, wait, where does this take me? Oh, getting bombed. Try jumping on his head, didn't work. Ah! Make it, make it. So I need to go all the way back. What the heck? I took them with me. I have no life. Oh no. Jump! Jump! Wait a second. I actually need to go there. Oh, what? He hit me? What the heck? Why not? Okay, there. Now we're on the right track. You don't even need the last. You want me to say Fooey? What's Fooey? It's the last one, and then we get the hook shot. Okay, let's try not to die. Okay, let me not die, please. Let me get the hook shot and then die. We made it. Get the hook shot. I need to pick up stuff in this game. Let's see how they made the hook shot in this game. Ooh. It's not round anymore. Now we can master this dungeon. Whoop. Nothing to grab on. Ah. Now you're invincible. Oh, dead though. Like almost super dead. Makes everybody lazy. We got it! Whoopies is good. Whoopies are always good. Let's clear this dungeon, although I'm almost dead. I just talked about it and it happened. Oh no, what am I doing? Low battery. What the crap? Let's hope it won't die in the boss fight. Five rupees. Give me that thingy. Jeez. Just for the bomb. Free bomb. Free arrows. Do. More arrows. That should be the nightmare key? No, just a key. What the heck? Another boss fight. Open your eye. Open your eye. Oh, you can do that again. Like cutting a spider salad. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, he blocked the attack from the thing out. One dead. I'm just gonna spam that, I didn't even need it once. Just overusing it. Prolong the battle. Yeah, next time it's gonna die. Thanks for tuning in, Brenda. I'll see you next time. Oh, I missed the chance. Crap, I missed the chance. Oh, now he's gonna die. Blam, blam, blam. More arrows, 3 arrows. This dungeon is awesome for looting. See ya! That was pixels away. Oh, I don't have a key, dang it. Oh, that was for nothing. Bling. A shortcut. More arrows. Wait, not here. I need to go over there. Is the portal close to here? And no, it takes me to a different place where I don't want to be at. Okay. Wait, there's no shortcut? Ain't no shortcut in this dungeon. Hey, hey! Why are you hitting me so hard? Talk to me later. Okay, so there was a chest basically over there. See ya! That's what I'm looking for. But thanks anyways. I want the bombs, dude! That's a key. Oh, so I still haven't got the nightmare boss. The nightmare key. Ready to walk. More rupees. Rupees all day long. What the crap? Oh, I need to go there now. That sucks. How do you know which one is where though? Memories. What? The crap. First time I find this menu. Holy crap. No way. Okay, oh, you can zoom in, that's pretty cool. Wait, you can tell which stairs is from where though? I'm guessing this one. Go down all the way. Whoa! That was nice. Okay, it should be this one. I hope so. What the? Wait, I've never been here. Wait, no, that's not the stairs I was looking for. No. Go. Wait. It's not really good that I'm here. I mean, there's no point. Let's open there. I basically circled the place in a bad way. Okay, so I need to go to those stairs. Wait a second, okay. Flip! Just let me pass. Wait, no, that leads to the other place. No point. It just leads over there. What's going on? So those stairs reaches. Oh, you go from the pond. Now I remember. You go from the freaking pond. It's not a stairs. Basically up from here. Make way, make way, make way. Yeah. Okay, we can go from here. Finally, jeez. What the heck? No, I was so there. Jeez, just grab the key. What the heck? Retry, of course retry. Okay, does this shortcut help me? Not really. Dang it. What the heck? Oh, this again. Kicking my butt. That's what I was looking for. Playing Mario again. He's standing in water with the flippers. Maybe I can keep this until the final boss. Okay, now let's do a shortcut with this. Do Control Alt T. Okay, if I go there, that should maybe do. Let's face the boss of the dungeon. Look. Almost in me there. Oh, you can shoot the hookshot in me there. Finally, we made it to the final boss. Open door. Which boss was this? I don't remember. Come to wake the wind. Oh, that's the one that starts really talking. I shall eat you. What was this again? Oh yeah, now I remember. To pull them. But it's still zoomed in. Whoa. Oh crap, I need to jump off. Come on, come on. That was close. Diagonal. Doesn't work diagonal. What? How did I miss it? I so jumped over that. What the heck? How is it missing over there? Oh, now he's doing it over there. What? I got the bad chance. It's a fake one. Come on! Oh my god, actually made it. You don't seem to know what kind of island this is. What a food. I made it on the first try. Woohoo! Woofy woofy. We got the second line. Wait, so there was 10 apparently. It looks like a 2D texture. Shrine. The island's secret in the shrine. So now we need to go to some shrine that shows the history of the wind. Basically. Wait, which item I have it? Oh wait, I have the scale. Okay. Battery depleted. That's it. The remote is dead. The heck? Hey, it's still recognized. Yeah, it's dead. Wait, let me hook up something. Okay. What? There's no battery on this one. Well, hold on one second. Okay, we're golden. Wait, how do you play this with uncontrolled, unconnected Joy-Con? Okay, so we didn't die, that's good. I always love playing with the Joy-Cons like disconnected from each other. It's very like laid back. Okay. What? Move away, move away. Can you move away? Let's put the scale. It's a secret key. What the heck, man? Okay, we're gonna need this. I think there's a secret children. There should be one. I hope there's one. Okay, there's not. Can you break this just for fun of it? Probably not. Woo. So we're gonna go visit the shrine of the history of the windfish, kind of. and then we're gonna end the stream and save save all the other 3 dungeons to the next live stream, which should hopefully be tomorrow. Whoa, 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 whoa. You wanna be a person? Okay, you're a person. Okay, why don't we wait, before we go, we should go somewhere here to learn a song. Okay, it should be right here. Wait, do I have 15? Oh, I don't have 15 t-shirts yet. Oh, come on! Wait, we should take a shortcut from here. Wait, I still haven't broken that thingy? For real? It's way long overdue. Oh wait, you use bomb? I remember breaking this with the running. Apparently I was mistaken. Okay, that's a fairy, right? It is. Oh no! I wanted to grab her in the jar, jeez. Will she come back? Ever? Oh, she's still here. I got a fairy. That's like 3 elixirs right there. Like, what the crap? With a cooler animation too. Well, they have a fairy, like why not? Okay, go for it. Does this have anything left? Done already. And is this the cave I think it is? Check real quick. No, the one in the forest was the one I'm looking. Okay, let's go learn a new melody from the fishes, which we're gonna need later for the chicken. Oh, maybe we can get the chicken now. You know what? Oh wait, I think I need the chicken now. Oh, well, probably later. But we can. I think we can grab it right now. This way. It's like a puzzle kind of. Flip. Go up. From here. Oh no! What does hose everything? Wait, they meant this, right? Oh crap, which one did they mean? No, they meant the other one. Jeez Louise. It respawned. Oh, the rupee. Another blue. Wait, this one? Yeah. Oh, dang it. Was it this? Yeah, it was this. Okay, that's the last one. This is the last one. Your reward is this way. Okay, I need the ocarina. Not equipped maybe, but... Hello there, teach me the song. 300 rupees? I forgot it cost money. It's gonna happen. Song of Souls. Okay, now we can go. Let's go try see if we can grab the chicken already. Anything to buy? Beside the piece of heart? Hey, you can buy these too. 12.80? So expensive. I'm definitely gonna steal that. Bam! Wait, that's not how you push it? Wait, I'm confused with A Link to the Past. It's supposed to play the thing, I think. Okay, apparently it's too early. No, that is supposed to do when you're down inside. Wait, so how do you open this? I forgot. Does it just get pushed after a certain... Apparently. Okay, let's go to the place where we're supposed to go. No, what am I doing? What am I doing? No. I thought I had the hook shot equipped. So we can do the mini game actually. Do. How do you go to this game? Oh. 100 rupees? Wait a second, I need the item ones. With rapids, wait. Yes. I need the weight for the seashell. Oh, you can still move. Oh, you can run like you could in the thingy. On the seashell thingy. Oh no, I missed. It's supposed to be there. I missed it. Dang, and that is the... Oh, I did it so wrong. Like, what the crap? Oh, I suck. I missed basically everything. Come on, make it. Can you make it? You can. Oh, this is over there. I missed the two most important things. And most of the rupees. How do you get there? No more grabbing. Wait, I still have enough. What? How do you go there? It doesn't make sense. Oh, I missed. No, can I not make it from them? Oh no, make it. Oh, I know! Oh, you can grab these. What the crap? Oh, so they are grabbable. Okay, I think there's a seashell here, yeah. Okay, that's already good. How do you go up? Oh, I need them. You can grab them. I made so much rupee. Oh, I made it diagonal. That's so much fun. Okay, let's do it like with all the items now. So you can grab those ones, apparently. That's one. But isn't basically all of it? Like all the important items? One more and we have it. Wait, there's this too. It's 20 rupees. You're found for any secrets. Oh. Wait, you can even do in the tree. getting all the crap. This is so easy. It was way harder on the original one. Bam. Okay, I need the rupee. Okay, we're done. We did it. Okay, let's do the race one time. Is it still 100? What the crap? It starts now. Why does it seem slower now? Oh, come on. Come on, quick. Diagonal. I'm doing diagonally and it doesn't. Is 30 seconds the best? 33, almost maybe 33. Okay, Seashell is good enough. Okay, let's try one more time below 30 seconds, which I totally can. And then move on. Come on. It doesn't do diagonally correct. Maybe because I'm on the Joy-Cons, I don't know. What? It is the fastest time apparently. Wait, let's... I must do it again to see the final fight. Oh wait, no, I did the raid. No. Jeez. Can I skip this? Can I change it? Can I get a refund? Dang it. Okay, let's go to the shrine and end this. It's about time we end the live stream. After the shrine. Oh, come on. Go. Okay, I want to see you ever again, yellow. No. Get me out of the freaking van. Wait, besides going back, was there oh yeah, there was. That's how you get here, by the way. Another heart container! We get a brand new heart container. Wait, what? It was already on the previous one, jeez. But I really need to go it down all the way again. Apparently I do. Jeez. Okay, I guess we'll do the race one last time. Yo! Wow, they're wasting so much money on it. Maybe I'll get 200 rupees on that. Go, go, Link, go. Ooh, that was the fastest I ever had. That's 800 rupees. Basically, oh no! Phew, almost did it again. That was close. Okay, let's get out of the swamp. And finally to the shrine. There wasn't any puzzle to it, basically, it was just straightforward. And that's the 5th dungeon, by the way. I mean the 6th, not the 5th. Ooh. Oh wait, no, that's to go to the dungeon. I don't need to go to the dungeon yet. Is there a seashell detector? Got 17. Let's activate the owl again. No seashell. The statues that come to life. Like this one. What the crap? Go, move. We're finally at the shrine. The mysterious. Oh, wait, there's a boss. I forgot there's a boss here. Wait, hey, chill. I forgot what you do against him. I think there's many tools here. Wait, how do you beat him? Wait, how do you beat him? I forgot how you beat him. Not arrows, not bombs. I didn't try bombs, but clue, arrows. I did shoot arrows at him. Let's try bomb arrows. But then I won't have a jump. Does he get hit? What's the point? What's the deal? I don't know whether he had a puzzle of some sort. Oh no. I don't get it. What am I missing? What? Okay. Is Trick still in the chat? Did I forget something? Like, what are you supposed to flinch him? I mean, I basically tried all my Oh, maybe powder was it? See what powder does on it? Oh, maybe you need the boomerang? It doesn't do anything. I don't get it. What? Okay, anybody in the chat remember what the puzzle here? Maybe I need to have the boomerang? Help in the chat. I need help in the chat. Help in the chat. I see no help in the chat so far. Wait, you saying I need to use the spinner? What? You gotta be joking. Oh wait, that's how you can kill the other ones, like before the shrine. Only with the spin. What the crap? Oh, okay, right. Okay, thanks a lot for the help. Maybe I forgot it, like just spin them. That's true, cause that's how you kill the ones outside the shrine, if I remember correctly. Hey Adam Curry, glad you made it to the live stream. To the end of the live stream. No. Let's check the windfish, the legend of the wind. Illusion. Go, Link, go. Okay, so basically, hey Samuel Dehoff, glad you made it to the live stream. Very deep words by the owl. So I locked all the whole map basically. Oh wait, still the mountain. That's where the 8th dungeon is. That's the 7th one. I love the 7th one, the tower. It's so awesome. And the and the 5th one is here. The 6th one, I mean. Okay, so let's reach the dungeon and then basically end the live stream. We did quite a lot today. We did 2 dungeons and a color dungeon and this shrine and another mini boss and side quest and crap. What the what? He keeps parrying this. Can you not kill me? See, in the original you can just push them aside, but here you can just go up. I'm OP again. Whoa. Let's wake them all up. The one that's wakeable. I'm out of here. Wait a second. Was the key over here or over there? Yeah, it was over there. He keeps bugging me, that owl. I did a sequence break or something. Now it tells me to first head south. It doesn't know I've been there already. So let's enter the shrine and then end the live stream. We're gonna save the last 3 shrines for next time. Why am I going for? Wait, that's a good path. That's where I need to go. Why am I picking up boots? Almost got all the keys. You gotta be joking me. I was right there. Why didn't... So, fairies in this game don't revive you. You only have the elixir. Eh? That's a nice spawn. You need arrows, that's what you need. Ooh, I made it. Put in another key and raise the dungeon. And we reach the 6th dungeon, as well as the end of the live stream. It's the face shrine. It's the hardest boss in the game, I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who watched and hung out with me in the past. How long has it been? Wow, 3.5 hours. This game is not as short as I remember. I mean, it's not too long, but I guess you can make speedruns way quicker. So everybody who talked and wrote in the chat, I really appreciate it. It was tons of fun. And next time we're gonna finish the last 3 dungeons and see the ending of the game, which most of you probably have seen in the original. So let me just write in the chat, thank you for watching. With some heart containers, heart pieces. And then I'll copy this so I can spam the chat. So, Heroes of Hyrule, until next time, thanks everybody for watching. Adam Cooley, Brenda, Samuel, Han, everybody I see in the chat at the moment, Narcilia, Silva, thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and until next time, which may possibly be tomorrow, I'm gonna live stream the last part of Link's Awakening. So have a good day everybody, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Until next time.